Chapter 15, Submitting New. Vani enyekevu, buying the last one to prepare his plate, sat down on his mattress, as a vacatidian, we pay attention to history and believe in our ancestry. Most of us believe in Sabaoth, for we believe that a tree without root shall perish, just as a man who does not take it of his past. Life has a funny way of recycling events in our life, when we don't pass them the first time around, just like taking any other test. You have to take the test repeatedly until you get it right. Louisiana, he said, pointing to Jonathan. It is prosperous but filled with hatred and loads of history. Not only that, many cultures come from it, such as the French, Spanish, European, Native American, and African Slave descendants, as well as a combination of all of them. For example, mixing these cultures created people like the Cayunes and Creoles from the southern parts and descendants of Native Americans from the northern part. Some practice black magic, voodoo, and witchcraft, and some worship Sabaoth. You had the French who practice voodoo, some practice witchcraft, and some worship Sabaoth for ich Kultur. It is the same scenario for ich practice or belief. I can trace this back to when Louisiana became Louisiana and the Trans-African slave trade began. The same history is true of those from the islands in the West Indies because of the Trans-African slave trade, when words like mulatto and the Cotonou became famous. The brutality of slave owners and slaveholders, who raped men, women, and children alike, created these mulattoes. The cruelty of the slaves from Africa and the dark-skinned natives created children of white fathers and slave mothers, who were then classified as these mulattoes. It meant a person with white and black parents, but eventually, it was used for any mixed-race people, period. Colorism, racism, and discrimination were the most effective weapons against us, but colorism pitted us against ourselves. Lighter skinned slaves were treated more favorably than those with darker skin. It upholds the white standards of beauty and benefits white people entire institutions of oppression. We all know te assignate slaves with lighter skin with domestic tasks, while te forced slaves with darker skin to work outside in the fields, doing much more as well as harder work. The paper bag test was often used. If someone was the same color or lighter than a paper bag, te were accepted, if te were any darker than a paper bag, te were not. In New Orleans, the southeastern part of Louisiana, the Cotonou was used daily, which definite mulatto again as one half white, half black, quadroon, 3/4 white, 1/4 black, octoroon, 7/8 white, 1/8 black. The Cotonou treated colorism within the black community. Dark-skinned men and women preferred lighter-skinned blacks because they felt their children would have a higher social position, and light-skinned blacks made up the largest percentage of the free black population. Very few people know that some white women were indentured servants and had children with slaves and free African-descended men. Because of the mother status, those children were born free and often married other free people of color. A large number of slaves in the United States during the 19th century were of mixed race, and with each generation, the number of mixed race slaves doubled every 10 years. All the different cultures mixed with one another. Meanwhile, in places up north, like Utah, sexual relationships with a slave resulted in the slave automatically being freed. Vani enyekevu paused for a minute, excuse me. I was trying to educate Jonathan about submitting his said a few months back, and he got sidetracked. Reaching into his bag, he grabbed an old torn book. This is my Torah. It was also called the Bible back in the days, but it had for books than it is now. We should now have enough for everyone now. In it are the words and life of Sabaoth's children and Sabaoth himself. Te all started reading from the Torah, and was passed before te fell asleep. Jonathan was half asleep. Hey, turn that light off, he shouted to Jom. Jom replied, you turn it off. I turnet it off before I went to bed. The light got brichter entbrichter. Vani en jekevu turnet over. Will Someone please turn that light? Staring straight into the sky. Vani en jekevu as a circular object with a large beam of light coming from its center and many smaller lights circling it, going right to left and 10 left to right. Look up, shouted Vani en jekevu. 4 hard consumates all. Tena voice was heard by the entire group. Be not afraid, for he is a prophet of Sabaoth. There was no sound coming from the craft as it started lowering itself a few feet up over the ground. Vapors from the craft slowly became a cloud. Jonathan and Joam grabbed their weapons, but Vani and Jekevu held their weapons by the barrels. Did you not hear the voice of the messenger, the ancient Pharii? Jonathan. Was checking, hell, I'm afraid of that too. What the fuck is going on here? Vani and Jekevu lowered their weapons towards the ground. Saying, don't be afraid of that voice either. I'm not sure if any Anakatas or computans have ever heard the messenger's voice, but neither one of us has ever seen this before. The cloud became thicker and thicker within seconds. A figure appeared 8 feet tall with greyish white skin. Please don't be alarmed, for Sabaoth has sent me. Gesturing to them to sit, please, sit, the bang said to them, I have come a long way just to speak to you all. He took off a golden chain with a black marble-like wheel about half an inch long, made from an unknown substance from around his neck, and handed it to Vani and Jekevu. This is for you and your descendants, a gift from Sabaoth, we call it son. Vani and Jekevu took the necklace and placed it around his neck. No one can take it from you unless you give it to them. It shall protect you and those that choose Sabaoth. No man shall receive his son until they have been enlightened. Any man that try will regret it. The bang size flashed a few times vertically as it continued. My name is Z. I'm one of 4 species who have visited Earth many times and for many years, centuries even. We recall it the Talvites by looking at. Jonathan as he handed him 2 smooth stones, make sons with these, however, they will not be as powerful until you meet the one with the glow. Please, have a seat, there is much to say. Jonathan stood there frozen with his mouth opened with what appeared to be a smile on Prophet Z's face. Prophet Z gently closed Jonathan's mouth. Jonathan tried to speak, but nothing came out. As the bang continued, as he was saying, we are called the Talvites by your people centuries ago, and my species worship and serve Sabaoth as well. He reached into a device and grabbed a book, the Torah, handing it to Vani and Jekevu. The language changed from Prophet Z as to English as Vani and Jekevu flipped through the pages. You have many more books than we have, Prophet Z said, we re also older than any human. He smiled, I walked with him shaker when he was flesh. The bang walked toward Daniel as he looked at Daniel and asked, my e. Gesturing to sit next to him, Daniel patted the bedwisse, sit here. Looking back up, Prophet Z continued. Please, have a seat. Some continued to stand while the rest took a seat. Prophet Z said, there is much to talk about, it would be best to sit. They finally all sat down as Prophet Z continued, many have refused to believe that anione exists besides themselves. There are over 100 billion galaxies in the foreseen universe and 500 billion planets in the Milky Way alone, and they think they are alone on this small planet, my add, teeny as it is. Just imagine an sitting on a table within your home. Humans are the ants, Earth is the table. Your universe would be the room in which the table sits. Therefore, what would be the outer rooms? What would be the house next door and even greater outside the house, the atmosphere, or even space? That ant would be a fool to think he was the only ant. What about the other bugs that live outside of the ants? Foolish thinking for foolish people. Daniel, with a confused look, said that again. Prophet said looked down at Daniel, think of it like this, our solar system is like a neighborhood. It's made up of planets, moons, asteroids, and other objects that are held together by the gravity of its star, usually a sun. Our galaxy is like a city. It's made up of billions of stars and other objects, held together by gravity. The universe is like the entire world. It's made up of billions and billions of galaxies, stars, and other objects, held together by gravity. You live in one solar system, within a galaxy, within a universe. There are at least 100 billion galaxies in the universe. Each galaxy could contain anywhere from a few hundred to a few trillion stars. Which means there are trillions of solar systems in the universe. Pointing at Joe and Jonathan, they can explain it if you are still confused. After a brief pause, Prophet said looked at their faces, knowing it was much for them to take in, but he continued, sometimes refer to our race as the third party, we are conscious beings that are telepathic, wo the humanoid chapet were born when it was written. Let there be light, and it was light. So therefore, we are born millenniums before your species and in another galaxy. Other species have come to observe, some to conquer. We came to protect you from them and sometimes from yourself. Many came with ill will because about cause your species over them. After all, they existed before you. Yet, you fight among yourself for the silliest reasons. Your species is the chosen race, the most incredible creation of the world. We race matter, use a significant percentage of our brains compared to humans, and therefore are more intelligent than you. You have been envied and hated by many of the world's creations before you. Your species is naive, for many even started worshipping our kind. Some governments, back then, would welcome them, and in return, they shared their technology with your kind, knowing many would become greedy and destroy the planet with it, and so, it did, but the plans of the world cannot and will not be stopped. When righteousness is more, evil itself cannot be seen. Now, sin is stronger among you, and righteousness is at its weakest. This is BR15 your, so-called Albanians, have come to earth. The evil one or the great deceiver has stomped out the many lights of the world through lust, greed, and power. Pulling up a screen from a device, he held a live video feed of an Albanian many miles away in a jet ship. Vani Enjekevo shouted, Tats Hideous, te a different kind of ugly. Jonathan and Joe had strange looks on their faces. Joe said, I have never seen an ugly Albanians, but males and females are all beautiful. Jonathan felt more like himself, you got to be blind, what in the world do you see? Vani Enjekevo said. Tats not even human, easy a large hideous figure resembling human faces, with one enormous eye in the center and long eyelashes. Jonathan laughed, how is it you don't see that beautiful creature? I'm with Joe, I have never seen an ugly Albanian. Prophet said show them another one in the frozen region of northern Greenland. What is it you see? Vani Enjekevo said. A Black Panther-looking creature with scars instead of fur with a hideous smile on his face, his pose. Are actually very small hands. Jonathan laughed, tats are fine as, Albanian female. Prophet said turned to Jonathan and Joe. What you see is what te, no. Ho te looked before te fell from grace, and Vani Enjekevo sees them as te are, for te are the fallen angels of the world, but you refer to as demons. Until you all are enlightened, you will not see them for what te truly are. Remember when Isaid adieset when righteousness is greater evil itself cannot be seen. Now, evil is more, and very few serve righteousness, therefore, the Albanians are here on earth. Well, before the Albanian, as you call them, came to earth, there were more righteous people, entire presence wasn't seen, but they were here in spirit and have been here since the entire fall, only possessing those who were truly evil. But the hearts of many have become cold. The preacher preaches prosperity instead of love. Technology led to laziness, greediness, perversion, and lust. As the evil grey on earth, the fallen angels of Sabaoth called ten come entire original form before they fell from grace. All the spirits, now flesh, to deceive and pervert the words of Sabaoth to men. Showing them one last picture, what do you see? Millions of Albanians. Said Elia. Like when you steer up and bet. Elia and joy had Said almost simultaneously. Vani en Jekevu Said. Minions. Prophet Zet smiled, looket at Vani en Jekevu, and Said, this is the South Pole, and tere art wisse is many on the North Pole. The cold weather prevents you from going tere, but lower-class demons are waiting to destroy the earth. Just waiting to be killed. Daniel had fallen asleep on Prophet Zet, so he carefully placed Daniel on the air mattress and covered him, only to the Enlichtenet can see the Albanians for who they are, so for the next 3 months, you are to stay here and train. You all are Sabaoth's children, his warriors, he has chosen you all. Pointing at Ibrahim's children, be not discouraged because you are not familiar with this world, for all that you know will come in handy later. As a prize awaits you also you get to Arizona. Know this, Sabaoth has found favor in your family. This family and Vani en Jekevu and These 2 brothers are with you, and you all will teach and learn from one another. Vani en Jekevu will help you the evil, these Albanians as they truly are, through enlightenment. He turned to Jonathan and Joram, you 2 were chosen to do a work that has not been seen since the days of old, you shall open the eyes of your people, Sabaoth's people. For all of humanity belongs to Sabaoth. In this past, they divided black from white. Male from female, a Mutter from Vater. But listen carefully, separation causes division and division causes war. Because of this, sons shall be against fathers, right against wrong, and nature against technology, which leads to destruction. Men look at silly things to judge one another, but Sabaoth searches the heart. Prophet said talket until don wen he stood up. I must go now, he tuchet the sun around Vanyan Jekevus neck, I can rest now, for my promise has been kept, and now I shall see Sabaoth face to face. A thick cloud appeared, and it got thinner and thinner, and the spackesi provered a feet about them, and within a blink of an eye, it was gone. The backdraft from the craft woke Daniel and Teal stood there in awe, looking at the sun. What is that symbol? asked Joram. I have no earthly idea. Vani en Jekevu smiled and pointed at Jonathan. Jonathan smiled, oh, corny as hell. And I don't know what to say, I know it wasn't a dream, for we all as away what just happened with our eyes. You know, I can honestly say since I we met you, there has never been a dull moment. They couldn't sleep after all the excitement, plus it was already dawn, so they pitched camp with the help of Jonathan, Elisha, and Vani en Jekevu. Using the equipment that the children of Abraham had brought, they created a training site. They talked all about what had happened and what Prophet said that night, and soon. Afterward, they began reading the Torah. After building a 4D training room, a firing range, and a combat course, the day quickly ended. Vani en Jekevu was impressed with what Elisha and Jonathan could do with the different instruments and gadgets and noticed how it made Jonathan glow while working on the various projects. Vani en Yekevu was curious and asked Elisha and Jonathan, what is it that you bought though, and how did you get to be so knowledgeable with all of this? Elisha said, Jonathan is a genius when it comes to technology, and I do my best to keep up. Jonathan said, I was born with a special gift. I can build, create, and design anything that comes to mindestens I'm able to look at something and figure out how it works and make it better with my own design. I guess it's a gift from the bout. Vani en Yekevu said, that's remarkable. I can't wait to see what you two will create for us in the next 3 months. Al smiled and looked to the sky. Vani en Yekevu couldn't help but think about Prophet Z's words, only to the Enlichtenet can see the Abenians for who they are. Vani en Yekevu said, let's get some rest, for tomorrow will be a long day. St said their good nights and went to their tents. Vani en Yekevu grabbed his son and said, Zabaoth has chosen us, now it's up to us to choose him. With that, Al fell asleep. The 3 sisters, Grace, Mercy, and Joy, helped where they needed, and they sat around reading the Torah as the men walked. A few hours before dusk, Al went fishing. Nicht, we can eat hardy, but tomorrow we must perform the holy Joine. Vani en Yekevu said. What is Joine, said Elia. Vani en Yekevu replied. It's going without food or fasting as you consecrate yourself to the Lord by building up the spiritual man and lowering or resisting the physical man or your flesh. Flesh refers to your own physical or fleshy weaknesses and desires. Briefly, they discussed the Joine and continued fishing. For the first time since the Al made, they were having fun. Ibrahim's children had never been fishing or playing virtual video games, and Elia took knew what he was doing because he always beat Elisha in the game. Al stood along the bank except Jonathan and Elisha, who moved a few feet away, for they had created a boat with their equipment. Elia boasted to Elisha. If I catch more than you have to clean mine, Elisha said. Okay, but if I get more than you have to clean mine as well. They agreed. Elia drew in his line, and Elisha soon followed. Vani en Yekevu had his spear, picking fish left and right out of the water. Grace, Mercy, and Joy made a long chair and satire with their poles in the water while they talked about what they had read from the Torah. Got one! Shouted Elia. He reeled it in slowly, just like he did in the game. It was a nice see the fish, unlike the game, but he had a rude awakening when he took the fish off the hook. Everione stood there, looking at Elia and his catch. Don't. Vani en Yekevu said, but before he could get it out, the fish slapped Elia in the face, and Elia and the fish both fell into the water. Everione started laughing. Elia, embarrassed, got up and fell to the ground by his sisters. Well, I'm done with that. They laughed even harder. Daniel didn't enjoy fishing and SAV an opportunity to have some fun jumping on Elia's back. Let's play. Afterward, Al gathered beans from the mesquite and palo verde tree and picked desert hackberry, jojoba nuts, and other edible plants around them. They finally closed out the day by preparing and eating dinner together. At 4 am, Vani en Yekevu woke Everione up. Now is the time to join. For us to fight as one, we must be as one. No berries, no beans, and definitely no meat. You can drink water. But for long periods, you can drink apple juice for this or weeks, but water only during the holy joine. This week we shall joine for this until noon. And every week after that, we will fast longer. Vani en Yekevu turned to Daniel, you must keep up, my friend, for I started my joine at an age much younger than you, so I know you can keep up with us. Then he turned to Jonathan, for he expected Jonathan to say something clever, but to his surprise, Jonathan had Said noting and had a sincere look on his face. He continued, let's form a circle. Everione gatter themselves and formed a circle. One half of my descendants are from the Tunica tribe, which originated from the Congo forest, and the other half from the Natives and Choctaw tribes of America. The Tunica tribe masterate Commuca, which combines many African nations and Asian martial art. Being Native American, I have also fused some Native American combat fighting techniques into it and about finished the rest with some techniques out of this world literally, and the entire style is called pouring the dew or hands of God. Wanneer je wo startet. Stretching is Everione gathered around in art circle. I must admit, I need your help with this technology for weapons. He said wieder looking to see if Anione had questions. He continued, okay, we call this circle in the Zulu tongue an umkombi, the plural form is imikombi. However, in Native America, it represents or symbolizes the four directions. Think of it as a compass. It symbolizes what is needed during a conflict or what we use when challenging an attack. He pointed east. East represents balance, confidence, and creativity are all represented in this direction. In battle, this can be used to identify and locate an opponent. To do this, it is important to have strength, energy, and commitment. He then gestured towards the south. This direction stands for strength, focus, and success. Here, we use techniques to control our adversary with brave and aggressive behavior. Pointing to the north, he took a deep breath. This is the direction of courage, energy, and knowledge. In battle, this can be used to surprise or overpower our enemy before attacking them down. Lastly, he pointed to the west. This direction is all about challenge, quase, and proof. Here, we use techniques to finish off our opponent before moving on to the next one. We must always keep in mind to carry out all of these techniques with respect and restraint. Remember this. Wanneer je shouted, East, as the group yelled back, balance, confidence, and creativity, the East influences the identification or location of an adversary. By setting up and developing a solid attack position. Employed with energy, movement, and commitment. Wanneer je shouted, South, and the group called back, represents strength, focus, and success. The South influences an opponent's brave, aggressive challenge. This technique effectively controls the adversary. Wanneer je shouted, North, the group called out, represents courage, energy, and knowledge. The North influences the control of an opponent with surprise or overwhelming force before finally being taken down. And wanneer je shouted West, as the group called, the West represents challenge, quase, and proof. The West influences the takedown and finishing your opponent before moving on to the next adversary. Wanneer je shouted, and the group repeated after him, we execute all techniques in an environment of the highest respect and restraint. Te repeated this over and over until Everione had it memorized. Wanneer je continued, inside this circle, it is not a time for fun and games when we are in an umkombi. It is to discuss serious matters, and it is when you come together to discuss your weaknesses before a join, only if you want to. Your fasting is not to men, nor for men, it's for yourself to surrender to the bout. If you discuss a matter, it is for your help or to see if Simeone else has the same problems, so you can work on it together to defeat it. Most importantly, what is said here is to stay here, never, and I mean never, to be discussed with anyone. Not to a wife, a sister, or a brother. Now, we need as Ilangu plural form Itsilangu, also from Zulu origins, a traditional large washit approximately 4 feet long. It is an important part of our training, and I will show you why. Usually, it is made from wood or animal hide, but that's not so good for this day and age, but Elisha interrupted, what cite or boron. Nitride is the best compound used in today's technology. It's harder than diamonds and has high shock resistant properties and other interesting qualities. Impressed, Vani and Yekevo Said, can you make? Counting how many people were among them, 9. Elisha replied, no problem, Me and Jonathan will work on it as soon as possible. Vani and Yekevo nodded in agreement as he continued, great, the ISI Lango needs to be as wide as its user, so you have to custom fit them for each individual. Jonathan Said, no problem, will Donnerstag. Vani and Yekevo was thinking for a few seconds and 10 grapet his kenne, twisted it, and his spear came forward, this is an assegai, I need 8 of these. And Elisha smiled at Vani and Yekevo, we can make that one even better, we need 9. Vani and Yekevo replied, 9, it is. Okay, there are 2 more Zulu words we need to know for now, TREMP, the plural form ECMP. Now, EMP means battle formation. When you hear this word, it is essential to stop overeating and prepare for battle. You will always be in defensive mode. He then shouted, Eva. Looking at everyone's faces, he said, the last Zulu word you will need to know for now is Eva, it means war or fight. This word is now not to be taken lightly or used lightly, for when you hear it, you are to fight at that moment. Not prepared, not get ready, but to fight. Think of it as a battle CRY. Vani and Yekevo shouted, Eva. Everione sprung ab but didst know what to do except Daniel, who stood there with his weapon drawn. I like that, Daniel, Vani and Yekevo Said. Taking his feet, Vani and Yekevo showed Daniel how to stand and find his center of gravity. Elias smiled, that's little Bruce Lee, he has watched all his films. Walking by Everione, Vani and Yekevo illustrated the basic stance. Vani and Yekevo shouted, Eva. Correcting everyone's stance by barely pushing them. If you fall, when he push you, your stance is weak, Vani and Yekevo Said. Again, he shouted, Eva. He continued until everyone's stance was chorused. After a few hours of helping the group with terms and definitions, Vani and Yekevo and the group read and discussed the Torah, before ending the joine. At 4 am sharp the following day, Vani and Yekevo continued his teaching, as I told you yesterday. We use joine to build up the spiritual man, but if you are not reading, meditating, or thinking about the Torah or Sabbath, you are just going with good food, and it's not a holy joine. Jonathan and Elisha made notepads to help them keep up with their studies and handed out new weatherproof Torahs. As Vani and Yekevo grabbed his new Torah, he wrapped his old one up. This has been in my family for a very long time. He started flipping through the pages. The Torah comprises all the spiritual books ever written by Sabbath's prophets and scribes in this of old. Men's tradition separated each book, and what has always been the outcome. He held up the book. Because of this book. The Bible, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the Quran. He paused, looked to the back, the last book of the Torah, this is the Quran, a book of guidance. Its beginnings go back as far as the fall of the Roman Empire, at the birth of the Prophet Muhammad, the author. Vani and Yekevo continued flipping through the pages. Read about the Moors. No, as a matter of fact, read about everybody, eating, and event. TRY not to be ignorant of history, period. But back to Muhammad, when he was born, about 4 years after the death of Emperor Justinian, many Arabs were still worshipping the sun, stars, spirits, and idols. The Arabs possessed 360 idols, one for each day of the year. In his youth, he was never taught to read or write, by a shepherd boy. He eventually became a camel driver, traveling to remote and intriguing lands such as Persia, Syria, and Egypt, transacting business with merchants of every kind. Where he met Jews, Christians, and members of other sects, he interrogated them. The majority of Christians in the region were monophysites, who were seen as heretics by the major Christian denominations of the time. As such, they were generally not accepted by the larger Christian community. Looking at Daniel and Smeded, like most young men do, concerning their religions. He frequented the Jews and their rabbis, mostly because they were merchants and an omnipresent ethnic group. Since he could not read or write, he listened and was keen on evaluating the Jews related to him. Mohammed learned and extracted much from the Jewish religion and compounded it with Islam's new religion. It was just added to the Torah about a few centuries ago. Many fought against putting it in the Torah because it contradicts some of the other text in other books, but an old prophet came forth and quoted Luke 9, 49-50 to them, which reads, Master, Said John, we as a Someone driving out demons in your name, and we tried to stop him because he is not one of us. Msheka Said, do not stop him, for whoever is not against you is for you. Years later, it was added. Evarione opened up their Torah and searched for the passage he had just quoted. As he continued, Luke is an excellent book on discipline and respect for your brothers and sisters. Now, where did we stop with our reading yesterday? Merci Said. We stopped at the beginning of 1 Kings. But it was so interesting that myself and my sisters continued reading while you all were fishing. Vani en Jekevu looked at Grace, do you want to recap what you have already read? The group got into a deep discussion about what they had already read, and who had passed before Vani en Jekevu Said. Well, let's continue reading the rest of 1 Kings. They all were so engulfed in the Torah that before they knew it was known. Jonathan and Elisha set up their equipment and started working on different projects for Vani en Jekevu. The rest went hunting, and other small chores needed to be done before dusk. Through the day, Jonathan and Elisha called each individual to set them up for their ISIlangu, and, grabbing Vani en Jekevus kenne, they carefully redesignate it and other equipment and weapons. They passed out the ISIlangu and assegai right before dinner. Evarione was excited to have their new weapons. Vani en Jekevu was off meditating when he was called to dinner, and his equipment was at his dining spot. Done so soon. He grabbed his kenne. I fällt. Naked without my kenne, Vani en Jekevu Said. He played with it for a moment. It's smoother and comes out much quicker than mine. Striking it against the ground as hard as he could. And much stronger. Picking up the ISIlangu, this is wonderful, I must admit. Vani en Jekevu left the dinner table before taking a bite and went off to test out some of his techniques with his new toys. John, Joy, Daniel, and Jonathan followed as the rest looked on and ate. The ISIlangu is designed to form a total defense in massed formation against the throwing spears of the enemy. In our case, through the beams of light, Jonathan Said. They are highly concentrated beams of light or laser, Jonathan ran off, saying. They should be finished. Vani en Jekevu continued, okay, laser, but the whole intention is to engage the enemy in hand-to-hand combat and kill the enemy. Using the ISI langu and the assegai in combat is a unified action that allows you to hook the opponent's shield with the leading left outer edge of the assegai, pulling it backward, thus allowing the assegai to be smashed upwards into the right chest of the opponent. The effect is instantaneous. An. Ancient warrior named Shaka Zulu created this technique. Jonathan returned and handed out Everione a copy of Vani Nyekevu's. Kenne. In tears, Vani Nyekevu couldn't say a word, he just smiled and hooked Jonathan. Vani Nyekevu just took his new kenne and practiced with it as the rest joined in, and he practiced for a bit before returning to the dinner table, where he talked about the style and other techniques until he went to bed for the night. The next morning without warning, Vani Nyekevu grabbed a wooden stick and shouted. Impi, without prejudice, he went by each of them, striking them with the wooden stick. Chom and Jonathan could block his attack, but the rest were not so lucky. He shouted, "You must be ready at any given moment." T10 ran miles around the lake and back. Non-stop T went through the obstacle course. The group was tired and weary, but Vani Nyekevu did lead up. "Push yourself," he shouted. Seeing the weary looks on their faces and thinking they wanted to give up, he gathered the group together. "I don't know VHY about his called US together, but you have seen with your eyes and heard with your ears his power. Remember young David running from Saul? Can you imagine his pain? He had opportunities to stop running and hiding by killing Saul, but he did because Saul was God servant. He knee. That his jealousy consumed him. He knees about would make a way. But we are not running from anyone but towards him. Whoever it is, to do Sabaoth's bidding. It has only been 3 days, and you were chosen like David was to do his will, that alone should be an honor. Out of all the people on this planet, he chose us. We must be prepared to go to war by learning from one another. What I don't know, you should teach me. Now, rest for the rest of the day, but be prepared to go back at it in the morning. Te talked among themselves and helped each other with whatever problems each other were having, and it made Vani Nyekevu proud to see them working together. The next day, te pushed each other. Te all went to the firing range where Vani Nyekevu learned their weaponry, and he taught them many assegai techniques and how to make and throw different stars. Te were on one accord. What was also was 9 individuals were now becoming one fierce force. Vani Nyekevu learned about the new technology, and he, too, had a difficult time understanding it dispassed and thus this turned into weeks, and they were able to fast for 3 days straight by the 5th week. By the 6th week, all of their frustrations and doubts turned into determination with the help of fasting and meditating, and the intense and rigorous training became somewhat more manageable.